Hey, what's up guys? It's Brendan from Best Life Weight Loss. And today's bike vlog, I want to talk about manifesting your goals. If you've been watching for a while, you know that I haven't uploaded in like 2 weeks. And life just sometimes gets you. But one thing I do want to say before we jump into the goals is that even when life gets you and it's pulling you different ways, you have to try really hard to just stay positive, to maintain a good attitude. Your outlook, your demeanor, how you perceive things in this world is going to affect everything you do, everything in your life. And one thing to do is to control the tilt. If you can control how you get tilted, my buddy laughs at me because I'm always getting mad at video games. I'm always getting frustrated and upset. And I'll keep trying and I'll keep playing them. But, I allow myself to scream at those and get upset at those games because in my real life, in my everyday life, at work, in society, I don't get mad. I don't lose my fucking cool. I don't let people control my narrative. And I feel like if you go through life trying your best, because it's going to happen, you're going to lose your cool eventually, going through life trying your best to maintain positivity, even if it's a facade. Don't let other people see the weakness. Your friends and family, they can see the vulnerabilities, but you don't need to let other people see your weaknesses. Fuck that shit. You gotta stand up, head held high, and achieve your greatness that I know you can achieve. And that's really where the goal setting and the goal manifestation can come into play. One thing that, if you've been watching, I've been struggling with my calorie deficit recently. After losing so much weight, the back and forth, it's not so bad. I've been struggling between 220 and 230. And the last week, I didn't hit my calorie deficit at all. Any of them days. I was working out, but I'm down bad right now, like 235. And for a goal of 185, I'm just regressing at this point. So we're back. I hit my calorie deficit yesterday. I'm telling you, it's all about tracking. That's how I know that I'm not hitting my deficit. That's how, I can see the scales on the number. I can see the pudge still there, looking a little bigger than it did 3 weeks ago in the mirror. But the raw numbers, the raw data, actually looking at the numbers and saying, okay, I was over 400 calories this day, I was over 300 calories this day. Seeing that allows me to plan, prepare, and improve. And if you don't have these numbers, you're not tracking, just look it up. I have all these videos about tracking your calories. It is so important to know how many calories you're putting in your body, how many calories you're burning, if you really want to be serious about significant fat and weight loss. It's knowing those numbers. It can be such an important goal. So I hit mine yesterday and I'm just gonna go for the week. And and you gotta take it week by week, day by day. And I was really losing sight of that. And I was really focusing on that 185 goal. And it's like, let me back it up. How was I doing it before? Incremental goals are so good. So right, I just want to get back. I want to see the 220 on the scale. I want to see the 220 on the scale, and I want to continue moving those numbers down. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot. Sometimes I got to go back and watch my own shit. I don't, but just going back and reflecting on things, it's like, I lost sight of the short-term goal aspect, and I forgot how good that shit was. It really does work. Setting short-term goals, achieving them, and then moving forward with your goals. It's something like, one main aspect I always say is the psychological. Your mental space, your thought process that harpens back to positivity and your outlook on life. How you can perceive things will affect everything. Everything. And achieving goals that you set for yourself, that is going to, not only is going to boost your overall morale, it's going to boost your sense of self, but it will push you forward. At least it pushed me forward, and I think it can help you. And I want you to Just like how I'm like, man, I'm not hitting my deficit. I want you all to try and start that shit. And I always say, if you haven't started your exercise, your workouts, I say start that first. You know, you're not going to lose weight without being in a calorie deficit. Calorie deficit is literally the end all be all. It is the finite numbers of the whole game you're trying to play. But, you know, to build into a consistent calorie deficit and maintaining that, I feel like it's just easier to start working out, exercising, and getting into a routine where your body is burning calories at an accelerated rate, you know, 4 to 5 times a day. Do that for about the first month and then start the diet. But while you're working out that first month, monitor everything you're eating, track your calories, and you can like make a little diagram and say, okay, last week I worked out this many days, this is what I was eating. And then instead of upending your entire diet in the beginning, because it can be very hard, challenging, you go too hard on your diet, you could regress. And that's really what we don't want. You know, once you get to a certain point, you're gonna regress and go back and forth a little bit like I am, but you don't want to get stuck there, and you don't want to get put in that hump. So you want to, I really think starting the exercise, the workouts, building that routine, I really think that is the best way to go. And then to just, you know, like I said, you're doing that, you're tracking your calories, slowly wean them off. Okay, this day I consumed 3,000 calories. I'm gonna consume 2,800 and just slowly reduce over time. And the only way that really works too is if you're giving your body the proper nutrients. If you give your body enough protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, if you give your body all of these things that it actually needs, rather than refined sugars, junks, oils, things that your body will just turn into poop or let sit there and really doesn't absorb, that's how you end up getting more hungry. You overeat. You overeat because your body is needing that nutrients. And what's gonna end up happening is when you're working out, you're gonna feel more hungry, but that's only if you're not giving your body the proper nutrients. And meat, vegetables, fruits, cooking your own meals, it's unmatched. You know, there's meal prep shit that you can pay for, Fresh Direct or whatever the fuck it's called. That's expensive. It's, you know, even with all the tariffs and all the crazy shit, it's still cheaper just to cook at home. Ground beef, corn, rice. There's so many potatoes, there's so many healthy things you can do for yourself. It's just about starting the process. And even that, you don't have to just set goals for your workout or for your weight loss. Setting goals for your food too. Have food goals where it's like, you know, I always say have a cheat day, but you can have a food goal. And say you lose this many pounds. You know, some will say it's counterproductive. Oh, you're giving yourself a reward of food for losing weight? Yeah, motherfucker. The thing is, morbidly obese people, when I was 367 pounds, you have a different relationship with food. That is like your lover at some aspects, even though it's fucking killing you. So having a little food reward, it can be okay. I say having cheat days is important. Cutting things out completely, it's never worked for me. But portion control, sectioning things off, and moderation have been such a key aspect. I think I'll make a video tomorrow about moderation. Start pumping these out again like I used to. Because we hitting these goals, baby. We're hitting the deficit. 2025, before it ends, I want to get there. I want to at least be 200. I'm on the road to 200, baby. Start your weight loss journey today and stay positive.